Hold on one second. We about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dark Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go.
You know, I'm not sure which direction I want to go today. We got a lot of news going on. We got Marjorie Taylor Greene stepping down. Everybody with their opinion on Marjorie Taylor Greene stepping down. We got Muslims on TV crying like they're victims. And I think I'm going to start with the taqiyya, the open taqiyya that's going on in America. Yeah, I want to remind you that all over the nation, all over the world, Islamicists, radical Islamicists are murdering Christians. And then you have one pop up. You have one pop up and start crying and whining because somebody put bacon on his Quran. And then complain about the Constitution and how people can be allowed to do this. But it's some crybaby stuff. So your religion is a political religious system. And everywhere you go, you enforce your religion on people based on policy. Then when you come here and people have free speech and your feelings get hurt, you cry and whine. It's utterly disgusting to me. You can go back to your nation and do whatever the hell you want to do. But no, that's not what they want. They want to rule, reign, and dominate over you.
After the prayer ended, we look up to see them taunting us in our faces with bacon. I had to relive the whole thing again.
What you just watched was real. It is not AI. I know that when you first watch it, you might think it's AI, but it's not. I would have thought that. But I watched the press conference, and I cannot believe an imam who stood there with care made a video crying because preachers dared to eat bacon in a public space in front of them while they were praying. You can't even make this stuff up.
I can believe it. I can believe it because, you see, according to their religion, it's okay to lie. It's okay to deceive. It's okay to play these kind of games. And I can even more believe it because we as Christians, we love to project the goodness of Christ on other people. I was watching a video the other day where it was in Dearborn, Michigan, and you were talking before the city council, and the guy said, Islam is the religion of peace. No, the hell you're not. No, the hell you're not. You're a religion of domination. And that's what you've been doing. That's why we had all the crusades and all the fights. It's because you came in, you wanted to dominate everybody. But then when people fight back, it's crying and whining until it's enough for y'all to where you can't fight back. Then you're beheading people, throwing people off buildings, raping women and children, and forcing them to put hijabs on their head. And to me, it's utterly disgusting to see this. Let's go into Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene announced that she was stepping down. And then there's other people who, like Trump, defeated Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's Laura Loomer coming out saying, you're my enemy and I defeated you. And this is going to hurt Donald Trump in a manner in which I don't think he's really recognized yet. Now, irregardless of to what she did right or wrong, let's talk about it from a very high level perspective. Everybody knows that Marjorie Taylor Greene went to the Congress and the Senate with the best of intentions. Everybody knows she rode in on the MAGA movement. And her withdrawal, because this is really her withdrawing from a battle. And spiritually, I'm just going to tell you, spiritually, she's making the right move. Some people will say, well, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene did this, Marjorie Taylor Greene did that. Some people are happy to see her go. But from a spiritual perspective, she's making the right move. She's saying, hey, okay, these people are wicked, they ain't going to do nothing. I'm going to withdraw myself from this wickedness. And when your supporters start to withdraw themselves, now there's nothing that can be disputed. as to whether or not she supported Donald Trump. Some people say she stabbed him in the back on some things. That's some stuff I have to research myself. But the vocal support for him, irregardless of how it happened behind the scenes, the vocal support for him mustered support for other people. And the withdrawing, the moving away, which is what she's done, which is what women will do when they've had enough. When a woman's had enough, she's going to walk off from you. When men had enough, they're going to stab you in your back, they're going to shank you, they're going to slit your throat. The walking away does more damage than Donald Trump probably will ever recognize. Maybe because just of who he is. But when you see Milo saying, "You're a cunt, Mr. President," and then this is Donald Trump's comment after she retired. Marjorie Trader Brown, because of plummeting poll numbers and not wanting to face a primary challenge with a strong endorsement where she would no chance of winning, has decided to call it quits. Her relationship with the worst Republican congressman in decades, Thomas Massie of Kentucky, also known as Rand Paul Jr., because he votes against the Republican Party and really good legislation, did not help her. For some reason, primarily, that I refused to return her never-ending barrage of phone calls. Marjorie went bad. Nevertheless, I will always appreciate Marjorie and thank her for the service to our country, President Donald J. Trump. You see, the American people don't want to see you, Mr. President, turn your vitriol against somebody that they know supported you. They just don't. I don't. Not when it's not turned against the enemies fully. Not when we're not seeing people get arrested. Not when we're not seeing cartel. We're not seeing the deep state go down. Nobody wants to see this. I don't care to see. I don't even care to see it. I mean, it looks tacky, and quite frankly, it looks childish. Everybody can get on board when you're attacking the enemy, but when you start turning the guns on yourself and those people who are standing next to you, maybe she did do some bad things that we don't know about. I'm pretty sure she did some stuff that you and I will never know, right? But it's still about the optics. And the president is taking losses, whether he wants to acknowledge them or not. He's taking L's. For example, you go through this Tucker Carlson versus Israel thing, and the Nick Fuentes thing, and then them attacking Candace Owens, and the Israel lobby attacking MAGA, saying those people aren't MAGA, those people aren't MAGA, those people aren't MAGA, we're MAGA, those people aren't MAGA, and then Marjorie Taylor Greene steps down. Now, to be honest with you, if you really wanted to do damage to Donald Trump, she did the right thing. She did the maximum amount of damage. If Thomas Massie really wants to do damage to Donald Trump, he'll do the same thing. And what it will show me is an implosion of the MAGA movement. That's what it will prove to me, that there's a gigantic implosion of the MAGA movement going on. Here's Tim Burchett talking about what the issue is the true issue is between Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Congressman Burchett, what do you think about this breakup? What's going on here?
You see that a lot in politics. You also see people kiss and make up. I don't know if those two will ever. But Marjorie, she's been an independent person since she got here, and President Trump obviously speaks his mind, and they're in a complete disagreement right now. And
is this about Epstein, or is there something broader about this relationship that's
this
more representative?
Is never about what's current.
Right. So what do you think is this about?
It's a personality difference that's come a long way. She's upset about the perceived control of Israel. She's up in Trump's embracing of Israel, and she's upset over several other things.
It's Amalek, just like I told y'all it would be. Just like we pointed out, Amalek. If you don't remember my videos on Amalek, go back and look at it. I want to say something else too, real quick. Every time I do videos, there's people who halfway listen to the video, and they listen to the video to find me an error or something. Like the last person was, "Oh, Dark Waters, I thought you should know now that, you know, we as Christians are the new Israel, and this. And it's amazing to me that I can cover something in depth, like we've covered that subject in depth, right? I mean, to the so in depth that it's ridiculous, that people come up and listen. They listen for you to be wrong, so they can say what they want to say to prove you wrong. I just want to say something to you, bro. I'm not here to prove my biblical knowledge to you. I'm not. I'm here to help people come into a level of spiritual discernment. The simple fact that you, people like you, who cannot listen, have not listened, and what I'm talking about, guys, is I'll be in the process of saying something, and then they'll hear me start the process of the conversation in an interview where it has to be phrased a certain way so a person can receive it. I'll be in the process of framing that word, carrying that word to that person and delivering it to them. And then in the process, they'll start commenting and be like, well, oh, I thought you was going to say this. No. Shut your ass up and listen. If you listen, then you'll understand. See, everybody want to talk about discernment. Discernment is part about listening and watching. You can't discern what's going on with a situation unless you listen and watch. You listen with spiritual ears and watch with spiritual eyes. And I always can tell the pride in people because they're, oh, blah, 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 blah. That's why the Lord has never given you a platform to speak on anything. That's why he doesn't exalt you to speak on anything, because you don't listen. Next piece of news that I think is awesome, and this is with Donald Trump. People are like, I'm never going to support Donald Trump again. I'm not going that far. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. He's a man. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to be brought into his pride. He's going to be brought into anger like anybody else. But then we see this happening. Breaking. President Donald Trump announces he's terminating temporary protected status for all Somalis in Minnesota. That is what we want. That's what we want. Let's take a look at the actual tweet itself. Minnesota, under Governor Wont, is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. I am, as President of the United States, hereby terminating effectively and immediately the Temporary Protected Status, TPS program for Somalis in Minnesota. Somalian gangs are terrorizing the people of the great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from. It's over. Donald J. Trump. Now, this came on the tail end of news coming out that taxpayer dollars were being used taken from America and been sent to fund Somali terrorists. That was yesterday's news. It was breaking news yesterday. There was an investigation that found a couple of $1 million were taken from, whether it be WIC or SNAP or nonprofits. All the federal money coming into those households was gathered together and then sent out to Somali terrorists, which is Muslim extremists. Let's just be clear. Those are Muslim extremists. While at the same time, Muslims in our nation cry and whine about bacon. Oh, we're the religion of peace. But no, we came over here. We got all free housing. We take all your money and we send your federal dollars that should be going to the American people while inflating the deficit. We take that money and send it back home to support terrorism. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So that's a good thing that's being done. Now, why I take a measured approach to what's going on with Donald Trump is because I know no man is perfect. And I know what the Bible says, vain is the help of man. And so you have to take a measured approach. You can't let yourself get on a roller coaster, on a Donald Trump roller coaster. You just can't. And that's my advice to you. I'm on a Jesus Christ roller coaster. I ride with him anywhere he want to go. But on the Donald Trump roller coaster, you can't be on the roller coaster where 1 minute you're happy, 1 minute you're sad, 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down, because now Donald becomes your God. And now that man is your God. You have to have a measured approach. You have to weigh things on a scale. You have to have the ability to say, nah, this dude tripping. Nah, bro, you tripping. But at the same time, once you say what needs to be said, you understand that the rest of the consequences is on him. So I'll give you a perfect example. there's this thing going around about Ty Blanche investigating Ed Martin, open grand juries on Ed Martin, right? And whether it's true or not, we don't know. I mean, the whole thing of a secret grand jury is that it's a secret grand jury. But here's what I know. Donald Trump has been warned about Todd Blanche over and over and over and over and over again. He's been warned about it. If he doesn't heed the wise counsel to it, then that'd be the same man who will ram the knife in his back. And that's going to be personal to him. It's going to be the same person at Tu Brute. It's going to be that. Or at Tu Brute. It's going to be the same thing for him. But that's... Dang, I didn't realize my microphone was way up there. That's going to be his issue. That's going to be something that he has to pay the price for. Because he didn't take wise counsel. You know, just to relate it to your life and my life, you see, when God gives you wise counsel, you should take it. When he points out things to you that are in error, or people who are around you that are not there for your best interest, you should listen. That's the easiest way. The hard way is you get stabbed in the back, you bleed out, and you're near death, and he says, okay, I'm going to save you now. And so it's one of those things with Donald Trump. Everybody's already told him how they feel about what's going on. It's a matter of whether he's going to do it or not. This is something else I want to touch on. And I think this is an interesting story. So, all over social media, there's a trend where young guys are doing what's called the quarter zip trend, where you have like a suit and tie, a shirt and tie, and have a sweater that's quarter zip, or they're putting on suits again. And then you have people coming out saying they don't understand the trend and they look stupid. But these are people of a generation that don't understand that it used to be a thing, if you were a black man in a black family, that you dressed every day in suit and tie. Like, I grew up in an era where my uncles always wore slacks. It was Saturday and they got to put on slacks and dress shoes. The only time you didn't see them in slacks and dress shoes was when it was storming outside. They would be dressed up just to sit around the house to watch Sunday football. And black culture has gotten so far away from where it needs to be that when you try and get any semblance of order, it's rejected. I mean, it's crazy that she would say something like this. Listen to it.
Like, maybe I'm too woke, but I don't find the quarter zip shit funny, because I also didn't find it funny a couple years ago when all those black men put on suits and then stood around in suits. I don't understand what men in general, but especially black men's obsession is with defining themselves by their clothing and not really actively doing any. It's not deeper than just like, well, we can put on suits. I can also put on a suit. What is the point that you're trying to make here? Like, it's like costume. Like, let's dress up as the social idea of success or productivity or decent, productive human being. I don't know. I don't even understand what y'all are trying to communicate to us. Y'all are constantly like essentially dressing up as white men. Like, that's kind of the underlying idea. Suits.
That's the most ignorant shit I ever heard. You hear this ignorance? So to put on a suit and tie is to dress up like a white man. See, and her womb is gonna probably is already giving birth to children. Can you imagine what her sons are gonna be like? Son, don't put no slacks on. You need to have your pants sagging. You need to have a pair of Michael Jordan shoes on, and you need to have some diamonds on. Her womb is going to birth prisoners. She might as well just go and give birth inside the prison and raise the child inside the prison cell. She might as well give birth inside of a prison. This is what I'm talking about. Culturally retarded.
Quarter zips, like associating yourself with this like stereotypically white style. Hello? Do y'all not see how that's one, offensive to you as a black person upholds white supremacy, but is also reductive of your like humanness. I don't know. It's like everything all the time with them.
That's crazy. So she preferred for the black man, young black men, to run around with their pants hanging off their ass. She preferred for them to look like thugs, dress like thugs, and act like thugs. You do realize, ignorant black girl, that when you dress good, you feel good. When you dress good, you do actually do good. You do realize this. But this was the issue when I was a young man. The issue was you talk white. If you were articulate, you talked white. Man, why does James, you so articulate, you talk like a white person. How does a white, and I'll be like, how does a white person talk? Well, they talk like you. You was an ignorant Negro. I'll never forget. There was a time period in my life before Hurricane Katrina hit where I had like 60 something suits. I never wore a button up shirt like this. Never. It was out of dress shirt, suit, tie, fully dressed, sports coat, whatever it was. Never dressed down. Never. Yeah, never. And this wasn't there. This level of ignorance, like what she's speaking, wasn't there. If a woman saw you dressed up like that, she'd be like, oh, he looks good. He's dressed up. He presents himself well. Now, presenting yourself well is a bad thing. But we're going through the fourth turning where everybody rejects the wickedness that they've seen around them. It's called a revival. And people act like there won't be a revival in the black community. There is going to be a revival, and there is a revival going on in the black community. But the idiots and the ignorance resist that revival. And therein lies the problem. The wicked don't understand this.
Nothing latch it.
Wicked people will never understand it.